everybody, and welcome back to the Atari Guy. It's been a while since I've uploaded a video. I'm doing a video all about my namesake, Atari, and here's an Atari plug and play. I have a few other plug and plays, and I'm going to show them later. But since I have not done a video on anything Atari, and that is my name, this is an Atari plug and play. Now there are a lot of these plug and plays. Most of them are video games, but this one is Atari. So this is the Atari 2600. We're gonna take a look at it in 1 minute. So sorry for the noise. I'm off a busy street. So let's cut to the gameplay. Okay, so hopefully I get this audio aligned correctly. I'm gonna have to delete part of it, but so there are 10 games, and the first one we're gonna take a look at is Crackpots. Now this one, it's all about bugs. And essentially what happens is you have to kill these. They look like spiders. Whether that is what they are or not, it says bugs. And now essentially these crawl up the walls, and you have to put these what looks like little jets on, and get the spiders. This is a really interesting game. I think there are other versions of this. I think I've seen this before. I'm not sure exactly, but it is a really fun game. Next is Atlantis. And this one, I'm not really good at this one. This is where you just shoot planes. I'm not good at it. I'm not. So I didn't spend much time because I know I'm horrible at it. So, oh well, I did get some of it, but yeah. Next is Pitfall. Now, Pitfall is one of those very popular games, and it's most known on the Atari. That's what everyone knows it for. There are versions for the Game Boy Color, but I'm showing the Atari version here. Also, I got the sound from this, so I'm using Audacity and then recording the sound. I'm not really good at Pitfall. I never get past like the third screen. That's the one with the little sliding thing, the vine. I know what I'm talking about. But otherwise, it's a really fun game if you know how to play it. Most people are gonna look at this and be like, "Hey, why is he so horrible at games?" And I finally figured out you actually have to push the down on the joystick to go down, and I was a little too late and I fell in the pit. That's what it's called, Pitfall, because I fall into pits. Also, sorry about the background noise. I've got a busy street and a washing machine. And see, I fell into the pit. Okay, so the next game is Prix. And it's essentially a racing game. There are one racing game. This is the racing game. There's another game involving cars. If you know Frogger, it's a little like Frogger, the other one. But this one, essentially, you have to not hit into the cars, and you have to go past cars. This was before Mario Kart, and you'll say, well, look at these graphics. They're not that good looking. This was good for the time. A lot of your game systems were most of the computers at the time were monochrome, which means that they had one color, green and black, black and white. There were amber, it's an orangish color. Yeah, there were not many things for computers. Also, I'd like to give a little nod up to the 8-Bit Guy. I'll put a video of his down in the description where he talked all about the plug and plays. He did a video on a couple plug and plays, and I'll try and leave at least one of them. Next game is River Raid. Sorry, I misread it. River Raid. It took me a while to figure this out. I've played it before, but essentially, what you gotta do is you shoot the ships and the fuel. The fuel gives you fuel, of course. But you have to shoot the ships and the airplanes, or the helicopters, sorry, because those will get in your way. As you can see, I was hitting into these boats. Also, you may notice the copyright 2001 down by the Activision logo when it switches to that. That is because this plug and play was released in 2001. The actual Atari was sometime in the 70s. Don't ask me when. But this is a version of the Atari 2600. And you can see here I figured out how to play the game, and then of course I killed myself. You know, and people are gonna say, this doesn't look that fun, like, you know, this doesn't look like something you'd want to play for a long time. Next is tennis. But, you know, it's a really nice game. For the time, this was, you can see I'm not good at this. I'm the pink player. This was not, like, this is not like you're not gonna use this as your regular game system now, but, like, this was meant to just have fun. But, you know, this is not your Nintendo Switch or your PlayStation or your, next is, Spider Fighter, which you might say, didn't you just do a game of spiders? Also, this is not me. This part is me. This is not your PlayStation or your whatever, your Xbox or whatever. This is a modern version of old games. Next, sorry, I'm not good at this. Next is ice hockey. I could not really figure out because I didn't know if I was a white or blue player. Probably the white or blue player. The yellow or blue player. I was looking at the background color. Yeah, this is not really interesting. Not really interesting. I'm not really good at this. Sorry. Next is boxing. Come on. Okay. So, this one I used to play a whole bunch. And this one is really fun. Essentially, you punch the other people, but by pressing the fire button. You basically have to find the sweet spots to punch the person. Otherwise, it's basically, yeah, what I just said. You have to find the perfect spot to, like, punch him, and then you get the points. I ended up beating him by 4 points in the end. So, I would personally say, for the Atari, you're better off going to, like, Nintendo or something, an older Nintendo. But, you know, if you really want to play with this, you know, it's fun to play. But, really, if you're looking for a retro system, the actual thing is hard to find and hard to use because it uses coaxial, which is a type of antenna cable. I don't know if the guys if whoever's watching this know what I'm talking about. I'm just talking, ranting on about nothing really, because nothing of this is important. Not nothing of this is important, but no, you know, nothing about this a lot of people will know, besides people who, like, you know, are really into this. I'm surprised I even know this. But otherwise, yeah, it's you know, these plug and plays are really nice to use. But these systems are nice to collect. But if you really are trying to get into retro video gaming, I recommend getting, like, a Nintendo or something easier. You can use emulators if you're really interested in that. RetroPie, Raspberry Pi if you have one of those. Next is Freeway. Finally, this is the last game. This is sort of like Frogger. If you don't know what Frogger is, it's like Crossy Road. If you don't know what Crossy Road is, it's a game where you cross the road. Why did the chicken cross the road? That's essentially what this is, because it looks like a chicken. At this point, I was actually talking about graphics to myself, because I actually thought I was recording the audio at the same time, but I wasn't. What a surprise. Me not filming correctly. Huh. I want to do more videos on these plug and plays. We've got a few more older ones. They both are arcade games. This is an Atari 2600 emulator. So, if you want to know more about the Atari 2600, just look it up. I'd probably do another video on the Atari 2600 sometime later. But yeah, I personally say that you shouldn't really start with an Atari unless you start with one of these plug-and-plays. There's a modern plug-and-play which I'm going to do a video on later. And it's not as interesting. It's a paddle one, and for those of you who know what Pong is, look up Pong. It's a game that everyone who's into like old video games knows about. Pong was essentially the first video game, and there's a lot about video games. You know, there's a lot. Video games were old. They are not new inventions. The first home video game system, I don't even know when that was created, but the first like arcade game was really Pong. Arcades, they were, if you've ever been to an arcade, nowadays they aren't really much video games. They're not the video games like I imagine with like joysticks, like all those, the old ones. With like the joysticks and all that. They're not like that anymore. They don't have like Donkey Kong or Pac-Man or anything like that. Yeah. Yeah, so that's it for this. There's like 2 more minutes left of my filming where I filmed. But essentially that's it. This was okay, so that is it for the Atari plug and play. So I hope you enjoyed my example of my gameplay, and stay tuned for my videos. I've got some fun stuff planned, so thank you guys for watching. Thank you.